All right, for this problem, I want to find the area of a rectangle that has fractional side lengths. So I'm going to do it two different ways. The first way, I'm going to go ahead and change these mixed numbers to improper fractions. So remember, to do that, we kind of looked at a shortcut. We can do 2 times 4. That gives us 8 because we're looking at, how many halves we have in 4. And then we've got 1/2 left over, so that gives us 9 halves. So 2 times 4 plus 1 would give us 9 halves. So then here, I've got thirds. So how many thirds are in 2? So 3 times 2 gives us 6, plus 1 gives us 7. So this one's going to be 7 thirds. So now I can just multiply like I would do with 2 fractions. So I've got 9 halves times 7 thirds. So we know we multiply the numerators. So 9 times 7 is 63. Then I multiply the denominator. 2 times 3 gives me 6. So 63 sixths. And, if this were multiple choice and that was one of the choices, you could leave it like that. It would probably be labeled in square units. So if this were feet, then it would be square feet. If this wasn't a choice, then you would need to change it back to a mixed number. So remember, we divide when doing that. So I would do 63 divided by 6. So I know 10 times 6 gives me 60. And I have 3 left over. So I can't make any more groups. So if I'm going to write my answer as a mixed number, the remainder becomes my numerator, and the divisor is the denominator. So I've got 10 and 3/6. Now, if this choice still wasn't there, then we would need to realize that we can simplify 3/6. So 3/6 is the same thing as a half. So 10 and a half would be our answer in simplest form. So that's one way to do it, to change these to improper fractions. Now, one way that we cannot do it, and this is what a lot of you like to do, is multiply 2 times 4 and get 8, and then multiply the fractions and get 1/6. But we see that the answer is not 8 and 1/6. So that is not a method for doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you another method that will work if you don't change them to improper fractions. We can set up an area model to kind of help work this out. So just like we do with whole numbers, we can do that with fractions. So with 4 1/2, I'm going to split it up into the whole number and then the fractional part. And then 2 1/3, the same thing. So now I'm going to multiply 2 times 4, that gives me 8. Then I've got 2 times 1/2. If you need to, write that down and work it out, 2 times 1 would be 2, so 2 over 2. And, you could put a 1 underneath here if that helps you as well. And then I do 1/3 times 4. So 1/3 times 4, that gives me 4 thirds. And then I've got 1/3 times 1/2, which that gives me 1/6. So now I have to add all these together, just like I would with whole numbers. So I know that 2 over 2 is the same thing as 1. So that part was pretty easy to add together. So this gives me 1. So this part is 9. But now I've got 4 thirds plus 1/6. So now that we know how to get common denominators, I know that I need to find a common denominator for this. And I know I could use a model, or I could use the least common denominator. And in this case, that's going to be 6. So this one doesn't change. It's going to stay 1/6. 3 times 2 gives me 6, so I have to multiply the 4 times 2 to keep it equivalent. So 8/6 plus 1/6 gives me 9/6. So now I add that to what I already have here. So I know that 9/6 would be the same as 1 3/6. So when I put that with the 9, I do